through. So for you, it's been quite a journey just to get to this point. So I'd like to thank you all sincerely for all your cooperation and hard work and participation over the past few weeks. So we'll get started. I'll just explain kind of how it's going to look today. So we'll get started with the swearing in ceremony first. And then after, we'll have a few staff members who'd like to congratulate you. And then at the end, there'll be opportunity for you to meet your advocate supervisor. So let's just go over a few tech housekeepings just before we get started. So graduates, if you just ensure that your videos are on throughout and keep yourself on mute until you're directed by our judge to unmute yourself. A little reminder as well to staff, just turn off your videos when we get to the swearing in bit, and then please feel free to switch those videos back on after. Any tech issues, please do reach out to Kayla. You're familiar with her. She helped us through a few of our training sessions. So she'll be there at hand. So private message Kayla if you're having any issues. She will also pop in her email address just in case you get kicked out of this Zoom meeting. You never know. So do make sure that you jot down her email just as a precaution. We don't want to lose any of you and want to make sure everyone gets graduated today. So, we'll just say a quick shout out to any friends and family that are joining us on the live stream on YouTube today. So thank you so much for all your support. And we will get started. So I'd like to introduce Judge Zeidler, who has dedicated numerous hours to CASA LA through training and graduations. And we deeply appreciate him. Over to you, Judge Zeidler.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. You know, I have to say, you are a very lucky class because near the end of the year, we were having probably groups of graduations of 30 or 40 people, and instead, the 10 of you get to be highlighted, which is really nice for your family and friends. But while you have me here, now that you've finished your training, as long as you have a judge sitting here, I've been in this building since it opened as a lawyer back then and on the bench in my courtroom for somewhere over 20 years. Do any of you have any questions before you get sworn in from your class, from your observations, from having a judge here? Feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself if you want to bring anything up.
Hi, Judge Zeidler.
Hi, Ashley.
How are you? I actually just wanted to ask you quickly if there's anything, any advice you'd like to give us for kind of navigating the current times that we're in, and how the youth are struggling, I'm assuming more so now that they can't, their lives have been upended by this pandemic.
Yeah, there are unique problems for our youth, whether it's even a harder time getting some of the things they need, a hotspot, a computer for school from home. Just today, I had a CASA have me order the department to make sure that the child has a hotspot and a new computer for school. I think what you're going to have a problem at the very beginning of the case might be actually even getting in contact with a kid. If they're in a congregate care situation, a group home, you might have a harder time doing that initial connection. So you are at a disadvantage of how to connect with a child when you're first getting on a case. Our kids are even more disconnected than before, which also for the ones who are in group homes or foster homes mean they're even more antsy and really need some encouragement to stay and stick it out. You also have some kids who are really thriving right now. I mean, I have one kid who is transgender who suddenly doing school online is getting like straight A's and B's and is flourishing because the online school experience is so much of a better experience for that individual kid. So you are going to see that kids have more struggles. The reality is you're dealing with a population that is underrepresented, lower income, all of those types of things often. I often talk about our system being deeply rooted in the issues being raised by the Black Lives Matters movement, of underrepresented communities and how they're disproportionately affected in our society. So all of those things that your average kid goes through, our kid might be experiencing worse, whether it's not having the resources they need for school, feeling even more isolated. And for a lot of them, their main family or resource isn't in their life either. So it just all builds on it. So I think you have more of a challenge of connecting with them in the beginning and really working to identify all of the needs and anything that a judge can order in terms of services, resources that they need to be provided with.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a swearing in, and before I swear you in, I just want to say that what you are committing to is some of the best volunteer work that exists in the world, being able to affect one child or one set of siblings, one family at a time. There's not a lot of other volunteer opportunities that really give you that ability. And we have CASAs who do little things in a kid's life that make a big difference and do huge things in a kid's life that makes a big difference. Do I have time, Emily, to at least talk about Dodger? So one example of a kid who I had on my caseload, who had a CASA, he was severely physically abused when he was a couple of years old, was in the hospital. The first CASA on the case had to get off, and another CASA, Jan Miller, got on the case. He was in the hospital. She would go to all of the meetings at the hospital. He didn't have a lot of upper body mobility. It wasn't clear if he was ever going to be able to walk again. Jan went to every meeting, found out about a gait trainer, an assisted walking device that he was eligible for, found out how to get it, made me make all the orders to make sure it was obtained. At some point, the department identified a foster mother, potential adoptive mother in Illinois. Jan started including her by phone, speakerphone, in all the medical meetings. The foster mother came out and met Dodger. And the reason I talk about this case publicly is because there have been newspaper articles written about it, so I'm not sharing a lot of confidential information that's not already out there. Foster mother came out, met him, then went back to Illinois. Eventually, Dodger was placed with her in Illinois. We did the adoption by Zoom, and in my actually it wasn't Zoom. What was it at the time? FaceTime, pre-Zoom, FaceTime in chambers. Their whole house in Illinois had Dodger banners up because it was Dodger Day in Illinois. A couple of years later, Jan, the CASA, sent me a photograph of Dodger when he was about probably 10, 11 years old, with leg braces on, walking a Tommy Hilfiger runway. And a couple of years ago, Jan passed away about a year ago. And this year, CASA just created the first Jan Miller Legacy Award. I visited Jan and we FaceTimed with him. And he now plays sled hockey, where he sits in a sled with the hockey stick attached to the glove where someone pushes the sled. When we chatted, he was on his way to Florida for a tournament. He had a couple autographed jerseys from a couple of the U.S. Paralympics hockey team. All of this stuff was because one CASA was so instrumental in getting him the things he needed to have the confidence and self-confidence to realize that there really are no limitations for him. So that is a long version of a really major difference that CASA made in a child's life. And And you'll have the opportunity, whether it's small or large like that, to definitely make a difference in kids' lives, whether it's making sure they have the right placement, have the right resources for school and education. You might be the one who is holding the education rights and being in those teams, signing off on the individualized education plan, the IEP. And you might be the one who is going to medical appointments. There's so many different ways. You might be the one who actually identifies that relative that no one else tracked down, who ends up being that possible placement. So on that note, what we're going to do is I'm going to swear you in. And after I swear you in, one by one, going to have our virtual handshake and have you tell me a little bit about how you found out about CASA or about what you do for a living, and give a shout out to anyone you have watching. So I'm gonna have all the CASAs unmute yourself, the 10 new CASAs, unmute yourselves. And when I say I state your name, you're gonna say I, and then you're gonna state your name. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Itzel Ramirez,
Do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that I will truly and faithfully
that I will truly and faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
of court-appointed special advocate
of court-appointed special advocate
on all cases to which I am appointed,
on all cases to which I am appointed,
that I will do so
that I will do so
according to law and policies of CASA of Los Angeles,
according to law and policies of CASA Los Angeles.
By the way, it is in the chat if I put too many words in together. And that I will always act
And that I will always act
in the best interests
in the best interest
of the child or children
of the child or children
for whom I am appointed.
for whom I am appointed.
Mazel tov. Don't unmute yet. Don't mute yet. As Mazel tov. Very excited. Congratulations. As court-appointed volunteers, you will have access to dependency court legal files and proceedings. As you know, these files and dependency court proceedings are confidential. You are charged with the responsibility of upholding the confidentiality of these cases. You are not to discuss these cases, nor reveal the identity of these children with any persons other than those individuals who are rightfully involved in the case. This would include those court personnel, social workers, family members, theirs, not yours, attorneys, or other professionals assigned to the case. So please raise your right hand again and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to uphold the confidentiality
to uphold the confidentiality
of the information contained in the legal files
of the information contained in the legal files
and all other case information
and all other case information
that comes to my attention
that comes to my attention
during the course of my work,
during the course of my work
the court-appointed special advocate.
as a court-appointed special advocate.
Congratulations again.
Woo!
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 Woo! So put yourselves on mute, and I'm gonna acknowledge you one at a time. This is when you would have walked up. I would have handed you a certificate. We would have taken a nice photo together. I remember the last one we did. We were kind of doing elbow bumps and a distance photo, and now we are doing Zoom photo. So I'm gonna call on you one at a time. When I call on you, unmute yourself. Tell me either how you found out about CASA or what you do for a living, and let us know if there's anyone you think is watching that you want to give a shout out to. First up is TJ Billa Fiore.
Hello. So I first learned about CASA when I was a student advisor at the University of San Diego. And I was working with a student that was just doing really well. She was president of Panhellenic, and I had no idea of her story and background until I got to know her. And she was a beneficiary of the CASA program out of Nevada. And that was my first introduction to what CASA could do. And then the opportunity to volunteer has come up several years over the past, in the past, and now just seemed to be the right time to volunteer. So
that's great. You know, we have some kids who are just the most incredible success stories. There's at least one lawyer in this building that was one of my foster kids on my caseload, who's now a lawyer in our courthouse. I have another one in another part of California who he's one of the 3 county council who does the statewide case law training at the annual county councils conference. There is a judge in Portland, Oregon, who had a CASA and had a play about her that had her CASA involved in it. So we have amazing kids. And do you have anyone watching today?
I do. I have Chuck Kindig and my parents watching. So thank you for all your support through my training and etc.
Thank you. Oh, look at that. We have a guest star. Hi, Benjamin. Okay, Benjamin is Lynn's son. Lynn is our volunteer coordinator, the volunteer coordinator for CASA. Next up is Ashley Hinshaw Grace.
Hello. I think you know by now probably how I got involved with CASA, but it's been a really amazing journey so far. So very proud to be on the board of directors. And have been roped into chairing the gala now again. Thank you, Wendy. I just started my journey, my MSW program last week. So it's another exciting thing happening. And so I'm just really thrilled to add being a CASA to the list of things that I'm doing.
I just love that, you know, first they started having the CASA staff all go through the CASA training, becoming CASAs, and now we have more and more board members going through it. And the gala virtual this year that you put on was phenomenal, and I just really appreciate everything that you're doing. And is anyone watching?
Thanks. Yeah, I think my mom's watching in Wisconsin. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
And I'm going to convince her to go through her training back there in Wisconsin sometime soon. And my daughter might be screaming downstairs watching. So hi, Mabel.
Hi, Mabel. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Allie Lindley.
Hello, I'm Allie. I came across CASA because I had a couple friends that were doing it. One who's been doing it for years and one who signed up in about May and said, you should sign up too. So I started the whole process not long after her and thought I had to do it. I wasn't convinced, and then I started, I was like on a run one day and I saw a CASA building in Oregon, and then I was on a drive and I saw another one. I saw 3 CASA buildings in random different towns throughout Oregon on a trip, and I was like, I think I have to do it now. It's just like breathing down my neck. And I am just humbled by how much I've learned already. So I'm really excited, and my mom is watching online.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you. Sandra Mora.
Hello.
Hi.
So I learned about CASA through Paula Burton, who's actually watching now. I worked with her when I was in college, my after school job, and she mentioned it to me, and it sounded like something I really wanted to do, but I couldn't at the time because I had school and work. Now that I'm not in school anymore, now is a good time to do it. So thank you, Paula, for telling me about CASA. Now I'm an engineer, and I'm excited. So aside from Paula, I have my mom watching and my sister Anna and my niece Gigi. Sorry.
Is that Paula who works at the Children's Law Center?
No.
Who's Paula Britton? How come I know Paula Britton? I know Paula.
I don't know. I don't.
Okay. Thank you. Congratulations, and hi friends and family. Kimmy Leopay.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Kimmy. I found CASA through volunteermatch.com. I do a lot of different volunteering things, and it just came across my screen, and I thought I'd check it out, and it ended up being this huge. So excited to be here and to be a part of this. I am a musician and a songwriter, and I also run a creative space, and I do professional organizing. And shout out to my family for checking me out on here today.
You actually have spare time. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Jane Nishimoto. Oh, sorry, Kimmy, did I pronounce your last name right?
Leopay.
Perfect. Okay. Jane Nishimoto.
Hi, I'm Jane. I am a retired school teacher just of last year. So I was looking, thank you. I was looking for opportunities to volunteer. And through Olive Crest and Safe Families, I heard about CASA. And so I started the process back in the summer. I also have a friend who has adopted 3 children, and she encouraged me and said, you should go for it. You would be great. So thank you to Kaylee for that. And today I have my friend Donna watching and a couple of my children.
Hi, friends and kids. Thank you. Congratulations.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Mariah Rayden.
Hi, yes. I first learned about CASA. Can you guys hear me? Yes, okay. I didn't pop up on the screen. I first learned about CASA. I'm a lawyer, and early on in my legal career, I represented kids in delinquency court, and one of my kids had a CASA, and it was really helpful and made a really big difference. And I learned about all these resources that were available that I didn't know about, and that stuck with me. And that was well over a decade ago. And I just thought it was time I wanted to work with or be a part of this population again. And this seemed like a good volunteer opportunity where I could be of service. And I'm really excited.
Great, thank you. By the way, any relation to someone, Best Rayden?
No.
Okay.
No.
My parents have so many friends, I never know who's related to who. Congratulations, thank you. Did you work in LA?
Yes, I worked out of the Center for Juvenile Law and Policy at Loyola Law School at their Juvenile Justice Clinic.
Great program.
Yes.
Itzel Ramirez Kazarus.
Hi everybody, I'm Itzel. I first heard about CASA through my writing class in college. We had to research certain, about redlining communities in LA. I focused on child abuse and neglect, and then we had to find programs that advocate for such situations, and that's how I came across CASA, and that's when I decided to apply. I'm still in college, and my family's watching.
Where are you in college?
UC Irvine.
UC Irvine, great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Hi, family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mindy Shapiro.
Hi. So I first, when the pandemic began, I looked around and I really just felt inspired to participate in community service somehow, specifically with kids, because I was just really, it just made everything become aware of the have and have nots. And I researched online and found CASA and felt like it would be a good fit for me. So, and I'm not connected to any other organization, so that's why I had to go research on my own. Yeah, and I'm committed to kids and watching them and supporting them grow through, healthy child development, and it's just felt like a good fit for me. So really excited to be part of this.
Great. I would assume from behind you that you're involved in some arts organization.
Oh, yeah, I'm an artist.
Yeah. And who's watching?
My family. Yeah.
Hi, family. Thank you. And if I'm right, I'm on last but not least, Julie Weinstein.
Hi there. Hi, I'm Julie. I actually found out about the CASA program through my temple. I'm a member at Stephen S. Wise. Prior to the pandemic, I actually had a meeting with him and a couple other temple members, including Edward Namus. You might have sworn him in. And our goal when joining the program was actually to be part of the Essential History program, which I'm going to take part in. And so the goal through the temple is, at least what my rabbi would like, is for us to get involved and then eventually create a group of people at the temple who are really deeply invested in the Essential History program. I actually, after, learning so much about the program and going through the training, I kind of wavered whether or not I want to do the Essential History program or become an advocate, because, the advocacy program is so special and working with one child. But I decided to start with the Essential History, and I think it's going to allow me to gain even more knowledge about programs and resources and how everything works. It's such a, complex volunteer, opportunity. So, but I'm really excited, and I feel lucky to, have such a great trainer and meet all these wonderful people. So
That's great. Stephen S. Weiss has, in terms of understanding our history, they have such a strong connection to that, let alone your own personal history. I don't know if people know that Stephen S. Weiss has this little Torah that was rescued from Poland at the Holocaust that Cantor Lamb never stops talking about. But you have a really great opportunity here. And for our kids, the Essential History Project, in terms of really opening up things for them and giving them a knowledge of their history. You have no idea how many kids talk about having been in the system and don't know anything about why they were in the system, what happened to them in the system, or any of those things. And it's a phenomenal new program that CASA has done. And it also allows you to uncover what a child's needs might be, or who might be there for that child that has been lost touch of. So that's great. Thank you. Congratulations. On that note, I do have more cases left. 1, thank you all. Congratulations. 2, this is my last chance to say thank you to Wendy Julian, who is only with CASA for 1 more week. What Wendy has done with the CASA program in terms of the visibility, half the reason you are finding out about CASA is because she has gotten CASA's name out there tremendously in the years that she's been the executive director. Has a CASA child herself, has had CASA kids, and I just can't, Wendy, thank you enough for everything you've done to make CASA what it has become today. So thank you. Congratulations in your job, your new job with the county, working with the Probation Oversight Committee. And other than that, thank you all. By the way, Ashley, I was on Netflix just kind of picking a movie to watch.
Yeah.
Tell him the movie with Apollo 8 is just phenomenal. Talk to you all later. Congratulations.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Judge
much.
Seidler.
Great. Thanks, everyone, and congratulations. Yay. So, yes, as Judge Seidler mentioned, Wendy Julian is our CEO, and this is her final graduation with us. So over to you, Wendy.
Thank you, Emily. I really appreciate it. And I love graduations. CASA graduations are awesome. And yes, it is a very beautiful and bittersweet day. It's my final graduation after about 4.5 years here at CASA. It's a special graduation because one of my dear friends, Ashley, is in the graduating class. I'm very excited about that. And also so excited about some of the partnerships and the ways that you all have found out about the program. And I know Megan has done a lot of work with Julie and working on the temple and getting that to happen. It's such an exciting thing to think about, having a cohort of volunteers that come from different faith institutions and different community clubs and different alumni associations. So I'm thrilled to have you all here. I will tell you, I'm leaving my role as the CEO of CASA, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. I apologize. I have 2 rescue German Shepherds, and I have no control over them, so they're in the background. So there really is a great opportunity for CASA to go to the next level with a new CEO, and that search is underway. If you know anybody who you think would be perfect, please send them in the direction of CASA. And also, I've actually already heard about some candidates who, quite honestly, it's very flattering to me that there are people who would consider this role. And I owe a lot of that and a lot of the success of the program to the extraordinary work of the staff. And you've seen that in the staff of the trainers and the recruiters that you've met, Angela, who's on this call, and her team of recruiters, and Jeremy, and all of the extraordinary trainers that we have on the team. And I think you've also seen are about to see the really fantastic work that the advocate supervisors do. I am staying on as a CASA volunteer. I have an open case right now, and I'm taking another case, and I cannot tell you enough how much support my advocate supervisor has provided to me. So I really encourage you to talk frequently with the CASA staff, with your advocate supervisors, with specialists who are program managers on our teams, depending on what kind of a case you have, with Megan, to talk with each other and really experience this as a community opportunity. Somebody mentioned about how this has felt, like a very important moment in time to get involved in social justice and racial justice and changing the life of a child. I couldn't agree more. And I warmly thank you for this experience. What I can tell you is that when I first started at CASA 4.5 years ago, I did a lot of recruiting, is a big part of the job of the CEO, recruiting and fundraising. That's about it. And I used to really plead the case of why people should become a CASA volunteer. And then I became a CASA volunteer. And I realized very quickly that there's no pleading needed. As you all know, there's a big obstacle to get over, which is the decision to do it and the training. It's a big commitment. But right now, my work as a CASA volunteer is like the most rewarding thing that I do. I can't imagine not doing it. And I don't know that my kid, the young man that I advocate for, feels the same way. I do know he knows he can trust me, and he knows he can call me, and he knows that I have his back, and he knows that when we go to court together, there's someone who really knows his story and can answer questions and correct things that are wrong. And that when I submit his court reports, they're submitted not just based on a pile of papers of his 20.5 years that he had spent in foster care, if you can imagine that. But it's based on my love for him and for his family and my desire for the best thing to come for him. And I really believe that what makes CASA a unique organization is all of you, and that you have chosen to do this as a labor of love and obligation to justice. And I think that the extraordinary outcomes that your children and youth that you work with will see are because of that dedication. So thank you. I'm really excited in a week that I'll be one of your fellow colleagues as a CASA volunteer. I certainly plan to stay involved in the organization with the fundraising efforts. As you'll hear, CASA of Los Angeles is a nonprofit. We have to raise basically all of our money. We get about 10% from the government. And so it's a constant effort to keep the program rolling. And we're trying to serve 3,000 kids. So welcome and congratulations and thank you. And please, con your neighbors and spouses and sisters and partners and cousins into doing this too. And I will look forward to meeting you all at the next volunteer holiday party.
Thanks so much, Wendy. Okay, so next up we have Angela Daughtry, who is our recruitment and outreach manager.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. Congratulations. Welcome. Wendy said it best. Tell everybody. Send them our way. We need them. If you have time, talk about CASA, post about CASA, help us fill your seats. We need people. We have children that need wonderful people such as yourself to volunteer with this organization. So thank you for going through the class. Thank you for taking the time out with us. We're excited that you're here. Thank you for joining our family, and grab someone else and bring them in. Have a good day.
Thanks, Angela. Okay, and next up we have our Chief Development and Partnerships Officer, Selena Santiago.
Hi, everybody. And just to echo what you've already heard, congratulations and thank you for taking this amazingly important step. One of the things we wanted to share with you, as Wendy mentioned, we are a nonprofit. We do rely on support from the community, from our CASAs, from partnerships. So when you see emails from us inviting you to events or things that we share on social media, we ask you to share that with your network, share it with your friends, help us bring more resources in so we can have more volunteers to serve even more kids. In the coming weeks, we're gonna have a number of events. We have a very fun wine and art event happening in just a couple of weeks. So you'll be seeing information about that. As Ashley mentioned, we have a wonderful gala planned for May. We hope you'll join us. You'll see information. But also, if you have ideas on potential ways to partner with us or people we should be reaching out to, or people who want to make a tribute gift in your honor, let us know. Let me know. I welcome your emails and contacts. So I'll put my contact information in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. We thank you for your support in every way, your time, and also just your advocacy on behalf of CASA is instrumental. So thank you again and congratulations.
Thanks, Selena. And next up, we have our Director of Volunteer Services, Lynn Gabriel. Hey, Lynn.
Congratulations, everyone. This is so exciting. I was where you, well, I wasn't where you are because when I graduated, we didn't do it by Zoom. I think we were actually handwriting reports back then when I was a CASA. I was a CASA for 10 years before coming to work for CASA in 2011. So I know that what you're about to embark on is going to be the hardest, most amazing thing that you've ever done. And I can't imagine how hard it is to do during a pandemic. Because, you know, getting, for those of you that'll be working with teenagers, getting teenagers to talk is tough anyway. And then, thinking they're going to FaceTime or communicate with you on the phone, who knows, maybe you'll get one that will one week and maybe they won't the next week. But the amazing thing about CASA is that even if I worked with one young man who was verbally 2 and cognitively 3 years old. And that's the great thing about CASA is you can be a great advocate for a kid, even if you can't really communicate with them in the same way you do with other people. You can do great things for them. And sometimes they won't know, and sometimes they will know, but you will know and we will know. And being a part of this community is just going to be the greatest thing ever. And I welcome you all. And thank you so much for everything you've done so far. I will put my email address in the chat room if you want to send me a note and tell me how awesome your trainer was. Or no, I know they're all awesome. Look at him. So just thank you all and congratulations. I'm so glad that you're all doing this. Thanks.
Thanks, Lynn. And last up, we have our Chief Program Officer who you have met. She joined us in session 2, Megan Madden.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. Gosh, that session 2 feels like it was like years and years ago. So congratulations. We made it through training and I'm really, really excited to see you along on these next steps and get to be part of the next part of your CASA journey. I really want to encourage all of you to stay in touch with us and let us know how you're doing. Wendy talked about the brilliant advocate supervisor you'll be matched with. Please keep in touch with them and check in about your case, and also check in with me. I love to hear how volunteers are doing in their advocacy, what challenges, what successes have been coming up for you. So please keep in touch. I'll put my email in the chat box, and I'd love to hear from all of you as you're starting off. In terms of next steps, I'm the lucky one that gets to tell you about getting matched with a child and meeting your supervisor. So you'll have a chance after we finish up our celebration here to meet in your breakout rooms with your supervisor, and they'll go through all of the steps about reviewing a case, what comes next, all the fun paperwork that's involved, and how we'll get started. And I'm going to take a minute to introduce the supervisors we have on the call. So all of our supervisors are incredibly experienced, so smart. They help me every day in my work, and I know you will really enjoy learning from them, getting that guidance, getting that support from them. So we have Maggie, Stephanie, Melissa, and Lori on the line. So you'll get to meet your individual advocate supervisor in a minute. But thank you to them and to all of you, especially for taking on this role during this incredibly needed time. We have so many young people who need your support, and I know that they will be in really good hands. So congratulations. We will see you all very soon, and good luck.
Thanks, Megan. So just a final congratulations, and I really look forward to meeting you in person. I'm fingers crossed it's going to happen this year. And yeah, take care and keep in touch with me. And I think we'll end the stream around here. Shall I pass over to Taina? So yeah, so so goodbye to everyone on YouTube, and we'll end the stream now.
All right, everybody, go ahead and sit tight. Okay. What we're going to do next is meet everybody, meet your advocate supervisors, and I'm going to get word when we're officially off.
Teleporting is my favorite part.